Alright, fight fans, welcome back to the International Boxing Hall of Fame with boxing beast rhymes, Chris Caban, Ben Umar, and UK boxing blogger, also known as Lee. So we're going into the second ballot Hall of Fame. So we're gonna go straight without no further ado. We're going into boxing beats and rhymes. Who you gonna nominate boxing beats?
Non-boxing is Jimmy Tibbs from the UK.
All up beats. I think we need to do boxers first, beats.
Oh, we're gonna do a boxer first.
Yeah, we're going to boxers. Then after that, boxers. Don't worry about it, beats. So go ahead.
All right. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna go for Don Curry. No, is he in there already?
Yeah, Don Curry's on the list.
He's there already. Right, I'm gonna go for Sumbu Kalambe.
No, Don Curry's on the list. Don Curry's on the list. He hasn't been inducted. That's what I'm saying to you. He hasn't been inducted. But
what? Can I go for
Don Curry's fine? Don Curry's fine, beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go for Don Curry. You know, he beat Colin Jones, highly rated contender, Marlon Starling twice, which is no mean feat. Undisputed champion, knocked out Milton McCrory, all 3 belts. Great counter puncher, great defense. Leonard wouldn't give him the big payday. You know, fought Mike McCallum, got knocked out, came back and won the light middleweight title himself, a different weight. And he was pound for pound at the time, and he was just one of the better fighters of the 80s, you know. Don Curry, man. Don Curry, Lone Star Cobra. Powerful puncher. The unification fight against McCrory, the finish was just spectacular. He finished most of his defenses by KO as well when he was winning. Obviously, the Hunnigan loss, you know, we know about that. But, yeah, I've got him down as a Hall of Famer. Personally, I've got him down as a Hall of Famer, Don Curry.
Excellent. Well, man, that's beats the second guy on the ballot. Let's see what the panel thinks. First, we're going to go, without further ado, we're going to go to Ben Umar.
Donald Curry was a very good fighter. Obviously, a little bit before my time, but I did go back and do my research and watch a lot of his fights. He was a solid fighter, and like B said, he accomplished a lot of things. He beat a lot of good guys, even though a couple guys ducked him. I believe that he has every right to be in the Hall of Fame, so I have no objections.
Great, good job. All right, UK blogger, UK boxing blogger news.
Yeah, I got to agree with Beats. You know, he had up until the point of the Hunnigan loss, you know, he had a solid record, was known as the number one guy, beating undefeated McCrory, wins over another great guy, Marlon Starling, you know, so you can't really odds that, man. Up until that point, he deserves it just for that, in my opinion. Undisputed champion, or had the 3 main titles. It was the undisputed championship at that time. He went on and took, I know he didn't get great wins, but he went and took on some killers at light middleweight, you know, gave a decent account of himself by all means. But, you know, yeah, he's got to be in there, hasn't he? Quality fighter.
Thanks very much, Lee. So that's 2. Chris Caban.
Definitely. He had some good title defenses. Not only that, like Michael Nunn, he was a guy that Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns, people was asking them to also fight Don Curry. So yeah, Donald Curry, before the drug addiction, I thought he was a beast. Yes, he's Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Chris. So for me, pound for pound, the Lone Star Cobra from Texas. Definitely Don Curry for me. Definitely the first guy I ever actually knew as the pound for pound boxer. To watch him on I think it was BBC. Was it BBC One? Yeah, BBC One. I know the first time I actually watched him when he lost to Lloyd Hunnigan, but he was touted as one of the best guy pound for pound in all the sport, and a lot of guys, they were wary of him. And even though later on, obviously I done my research on him later on, I realized how really good he was. He was everything. He was a natural. Definitely deserves to be on the list. Beats his number 2 pick to go into the Boxing Hall of Fame, and for me, you can't deny him. For me, so that clears the board. For me, I nominated him in. So without further ado, the Lone Star Cobra goes in, and we're gonna go to Chris Caban for his second pick.
Oh, my second pick is going to be Marlon Starling. He had some wins over Mark Breland. There was a draw, and then there was a win. He fought Simon Brown. He beat Lloyd Hunnigan. Beats his guy, beat my guy. I admit it. He also beat Floyd Mayweather Sr. And he went up to middleweight and gave Michael Nunn a pretty good damn fight. So I nominate Marlon Starling.
Thanks very much, Chris Caban. All right. So boxing beats and rhymes.
Yeah. The thing is, man, if they've got guys like Gatty and some other dudes I've heard, if Starling was around today, he'd be a belt holder without a single doubt. Great defense, great long read. Sometimes he was a little inconsistent. Yeah, it has to be said. But he was Mr. I was right with Mr. Bashir. Jose Barrett. He was the first guy to beat that guy, and the guy was a KO puncher.
Yeah, I saw that fight. I got that fight on tape. He beat his ass. He whooped his ass.
Starling was the first to beat him. The demolition job he done on Hunnigan was just horrible, man. Was just horrible. And there'd be days when you fight Starling, it was just horrible to fight him, man, because he was just very technically efficient. One of the most technical. He had this defense, man. Sorry to rabbit on, man, but he could block his head and block his body as well. He's just damn, how do you penetrate this dude? And he was only flawed once for the after bell shot against the Colombian. So yeah. In my opinion, he goes in.
Excellent. From Beats, we're gonna go to UK boxing blogger.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Won belts at welterweight. Never been knocked down. Got good names on his record. Nothing gonna go there.
Okay, cool. Benuma.
Even though I think he's a good fighter, but compared to the guys that we already got in, I'm gonna say no, because I don't think he has the bodies. So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to Moochie this time.
Can people mute themselves, because we don't need the feedback? You're gonna say no, so Benuma says no. You feel like he don't have the bodies. Okay, fair enough, Benuma. For me, myself, Marvin Starling, I see him beat Lloyd Hunnigan in a terrific fight. Upset and beating Lloyd Hunnigan. He was a terrific boxer. To be honest with you, I've only seen probably the Lloyd Hunnigan fight, and I think the Don Curry fight. I've seen, but definitely, I can't deny him that he's definitely a Hall of Famer type of guy. In any era, Marvin Starling could compete, and for me, I'll put him in. Ben Umar's the only one to say doesn't know enough about him or he can't get in. So other than that, fight fans, like I said, you leave your comments, but definitely, look, this is a subjective thing. Marvin Starling is good enough. If you don't feel he is, whatever, you let him in. So the panel has unanimously, should I say, majority decision that Marvin Starling gets into the Boxing Hall of Fame, nominated by Chris Caban. So he gets in. All right.
Sorry about this, Chris. You forgot Simon Brown as well. He beat Simon Brown.
No, I said that on my list. I said Mark.
He beat Simon Brown, yeah?
Yeah, I got Mark Breland, Simon Brown, Lauren Hunnigan, and he beat Floyd Mayweather Sr.
All right, panel. That's enough. All right, wait, we already said he's already in. Right. He's already in. All right, moving on. UK boxing blogger, go ahead.
Right, I'm just gonna click my bones for this one. Right, I'm gonna do it because I believe in it. The big daddy. Riddick Bowe, it's got to be in there. I'm going to just give it my summarised way. He's got to be in there. Although I don't think him being in the Hall of Fame can be denied, personally, in my opinion. Even before he was world champion, he beat future world champions or past world champions. He beat some notable names. We can all argue whether they were washed up or they never had heart or anything like that. But he beat guys like Selden. He beat Tubbs, beat Pinklon Thomas, I know he was old, but Burt Cooper as well, always dangerous, Tony Tubbs, Tyrell Biggs. He also won one of the best fights in heavyweight history, and he beat a prime of Evander Holyfield, one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. He won that fight, he went on had a couple of lackluster defences, but you know, I know Michael Dokes weren't primed, but he was on an active winning streak. You know, he was very active in the year and a half leading up to that fight. You know, he took him out nicely, you know, and with Jesse Ferguson, but I know people are going to hold that against him, but then he obviously rematched Evander Holyfield again. I don't think that should be held accountable for it, for his legacy, because it's one of them legacy fights. In a way, very, very, very razor close decision loss. His only loss of his career. You know, from that point, he goes and wins he had a couple of fights, but he wins the WBO title from Herbie Hyde, so that makes him a holder of all of the major titles, the WBO, WBC, WBA, IBF strap in his career. I know people might say, oh, well, he ducked Lennox Lewis because he got floored in the Olympic final and all that, but he never got floored. He got stopped. He got hit with a big shot. Unfortunately, with amateur boxing, the referee just stops it if he thinks you're out or whatever. He could have continued. Who knows who would have won. I personally had him winning the first round of that amateur fight in a way, you know, quite easily, except for like the last 10 seconds of that round. Never shipped anything big, you know, so I personally don't think he ducked him. I just think he was badly advised, you know, and, you know, getting taken on around the world trips and stuff, and he got out of shape. He was no longer the 225-pound beast that he once was. He come back soft at the weight, but, you know, he went on to win the world title again, knocking out Herbie Hyde, you know, and beating Evander Holyfield again. I know lackluster after that, but, you know, for what he did in a short period of time and his accomplishments, he's got to be a Hall of Fame fighter. That's my argument.
Great stuff, Lee. We appreciate that. You put in a great argument for Riddick Bowe. Must admit, I must tell the people listening, but Riddick Bowe has been inducted into 2015 Ballot Hall of Fame, which is good. He's already nominated. He was on the ballot. So we're going to hear from the panel. Does he get into our Boxing International Hall of Fame in Canastota? So we're going to go straight in with Chris.
No. I don't like none of his title defenses.
1 second, Chris. You need to mute. Everyone else apart need to mute themselves. Yeah, no argument for or against when the person's talking. Sorry about that, Chris. Go ahead.
I don't like none of his title defenses. He didn't fight Tyson. He didn't fight Lennox Lewis. He didn't fight Ray Mercer. He didn't fight Michael Moore. He didn't fight George Foreman. He didn't fight Tommy Morrison. He just fought Holyfield. He could have fought Tim Witherspoon. Matter of fact, no, he ain't getting in the Hall of Fame just off no Holyfield win.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Who did Lennox Lewis fight?
Lee, you've already talked.
No.
It's all right, Lee, I've got this. Yeah, you've already talked. So the panels, Chris has made his decision. All right, boxing beats the Rams. Go ahead.
Well, for one, Lennox nearly took his head off in that Olympic final. So I don't know what about winning the first round. It's a 3-round fight. Winning, right? Got his head taken off. As a pro, did okay. You know, fought Tony Tubbs. Debatable decision, very debatable. The Lennox Lewis, the Evander Holyfield fight was one of the best fights of that decade. All their fights. Can't deny that. Came out of shape in his first defense. Cardinal sin. You know, let Lennox beat him. You know, the helicopter guy flew in there. And I don't like the title defenses. You avoided Riddick. All the guys Chris has said. To put Dokes in the ring after what Razor Riddick did to him in a world title fight was just an abomination of a decision. It just has to be. With all the contenders out there, it's one of the worst decisions he could have actually made. Yeah? And bottom line, he threw the belt in the bin and he threw the no. If he gets in there, good luck. But no, I'm not putting him in there.
Okay, thanks for that, Beats. Beats put a good argument against that. Like I said, you guys, this is like I said, this is our opinion already. Riddick Bowe's already been nominated to be inducted, but Beats put a good argument against. Me myself personally, I'm going to talk about Riddick Bowe. The guy only lost once in the ring. As you know, like he title defense is not necessarily the best guys out there, but not the worst guys out there either. Legendary fights with Evander Holyfield, Would love to see the Lennox Lewis fight and some of the notable names that he could have fought, but they steered him away from that. I enjoyed the Herbie Hyde fight, even though he came overweight. I like Riddick Bowe. He was a very great character and stuff like that. Is that good enough to get him on the Hall of Fame? Well, not really, but on the strength of the Evander Holyfield, who's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. When he's 5 years up, I say yeah, I'll put him in. So for me, Lee put a good argument for him, but for me, definitely I'll put him. So I'll take in. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Ben Umar.
So I guess I'm the deciding vote because it's 2-2. And I gotta be honest, I might not be able to go to my block after saying this, but there's no way in hell Riddick Bowe deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. You can't get in the Hall of Fame fighting Tony Tubbs and avoiding, like Chris said, avoiding Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison, all these guys, and then his own quote out of his own mouth: "Hey Lennox, you want this belt? Well, it's gonna be in here," and he threw his belt in the trash. There's no way. There's no way he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I need some mute. I need some mute, please, yeah, because thank you very much, Beats. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no way he earned his right in the Hall of Fame. You can't duck so many guys and get into the Hall of Fame. I don't care how skillful you are. I don't care how well you could take a punch. It was blatantly obvious that you did not want to fight guys, and you did not fight the top guys, and you're fighting guys way past their primes. I mean, Evander Holyfield, hell of a win, but the guy was getting beat up by Andrew Galata before Andrew Galata lost his mind and started hitting him in the dick. So I mean, no, absolutely not.
Okay then. Well, the panel has spoken, and for that, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe does not get into our boxing International Hall of Fame, but he was inducted by the most sports writers and anything. But leave your comments in the comment section on what you feel about Riddick Bowe, if you think he should be inducted in the Boxing Hall of Fame or not. So we're going to move on. Thanks for that, Umar, Chris, Beats, and Lee. Excellent argument for. So we're going to move on to Ben Umar. And Ben, who's your second pick for the International Boxing Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I'm going to go with top 10 welterweight of all time, Antonio Margarito. Nah, I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm going with Nigel, the Dark Destroyer Benn, all the way, mate. All the way.
All the way, dude.
Excuse me. Yeah, no one else is supposed to say anything when someone's talking. Thank you.
All right, so this is my favorite fighter of all time. I mean, he beat Sanderline Williams. He beat Iran Barkley. He fought Steve Collins twice, even though he didn't get a W. He fought Juan Carlos Jimenez. He fought Chris Eubank twice. He lost the first one. The second one was a draw, but everybody that knows anything about boxing knows that even if you hate Nigel Benn, he won that fight by at least 2 rounds. He lost to Michael Watson. He stopped Doug DeWitt in 8, and he fought, in my opinion, even though people like to stay away from the fight because of what happened after the fact, the greatest fight of all time versus Jerry McClellan. Looked like he almost got his fucking head knocked off his shoulders, fell through the ropes, got back up, and put that beats on him. Plus, he had a rap song. That's my guy, Nigel, the Dark Destroyer Benn. I think there's unquestioned that he's been waiting way too long to go in the Hall of Fame. He deserves to go in, and I'm going to keep saying it until they put him in.
Thank you very much, Ben Umar. So, let's see what the panel thinks about that. We're going to ask boxing beats and Rams.
He came out the blocks. He knocked people out unconscious in a scary manner. You see the last knockout that what's his name, Amir Mansour done. He done that to about 3 of his early opponents. You see the guys on the floor with their wrists upwards in the air. Mad power. And just excitement as well as cheating. The Anthony Logan fight, sick. Eubank fight, sick. Michael Watson fight, sick. He did beat Eubank in the second fight. He did beat him, and I was a Eubank fan. I was trying to find every excuse to say Eubank won. No, he beat Eubank. Sanderline Williams, like Umar said, tough journeyman, learned his trade, and Sanderline Williams drew against James Toney. I don't think people realize that shit. It was a split decision. Nigel had to work like a beast to win that fight. Go watch it. Hard fight, right? He knocked out Doug DeWitt, man, and Doug DeWitt he floored him. Doug DeWitt actually floored him. Nigel come off the canvas, floored him 3 times in America, The Chris Eubank, okay, he lost that fight. Technical knockout. One of the best fights you will see anywhere. Just entertainment value. Knocked out Hagler's brother in 7. Dan Sherry, who gave Eubanks a lot of trouble, and he was very tricky. That was a great KO, man. The way he finished him off, man. That Galvano guy was tough. He beat him a couple of times. Took out Nicky Piper, super middleweights and everything. I mean, good wins. The McClellan fight. Listen. They came in, they brought him over here to bash me up, is what he said. And they were damn right. McClellan was the most feared fighter on the planet. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Right. The most feared fighter on the planet. That fight, savage. No, Umar. I'm flowing, Umar. You can't stop me. You know what I mean? You can't stop someone when they're flowing. Right? He nearly got, he was lucky in the first round. It has to be said, he was a little lucky because the count could have been a bit long, but that's not his problem. He got back in the allocated time the referee gave him. He came back, beat the crap out of him, incapacitated him, unfortunately, and he's a UK legend. He's in there for me. Like a lot of people might say, oh, I don't recognize him, guys. Well, good for you. I'm putting him in there. Nigel Benn is my dude.
Big endorsements by Boxing Bisa Rhymes for Ben Umar's second pick, Nigel the Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn. We're moving on to UK boxing blogger, boxing news. Lee, what's your say?
Mate, Beats hit the nail on the head. Bin hit the nail on the head. Any American fans out there?
1 minute, Lee. You need to have mute on the panel, please. By the way, thank you. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, any American boxing fans out there who ain't seen the Anthony Logan fight as well? Quality fight, quality win. You know, the guy's an absolute legend, mate. You know, if Toro Gatti can be in the Hall of Fame because of his the drama and chaos he brought to the ring, well, Nigel Benn did the same, but a whole lot better in my opinion. He had dynamite in his hands, and you know, and he also was the UK. He's a two-weight world champion. You know, so he's got the resume as well. He's got all the achievements rather. He's in some great fights. He went over to America, handed it to guys like DeWitt and Barkley, and then and he done what he did. He won the Eubank rematch as well. You know, and he was just around in a great era, mate. A legacy building era. Do you know what I mean? And he's got to be in there. Great. Beats just said it all, really. Said it all. Yeah, by the time he got to the end of his career, you know, when he was losing to Malinga in their rematch, you know, and the Steve Collins fights, he was a shell of himself. To be fair, I don't think he was even prime Eubank in the McLennan fight. In the McLennan fight, in my opinion, you know, but that could be disputed.
So Lee, big endorsements for that.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Big endorsements by UK boxing blogger Lee. Moving on to Chris Caban.
Without a doubt, he's in there, definitely.
Anything else you want to go ahead, Chris, anything else you want to add?
Nah, ain't nothing about his resume. He's in there.
Excellent.
He's in there.
Excellent, Chris. For me, myself, the most feared guy I've ever seen in the low weight divisions since Mike Tyson. I remember seeing Mike Tyson tear through the division, and the only guy I could say was near to him was Nigel Benn. For anyone listening who's never seen anything Nigel Benn, and this is what this is about, to inform you of some of these legendary picks we're picking, go check out Nigel Benn versus Logan. See what I'm talking about savagery. He was out, he got hit himself, picked himself at the deck, and he hit him with the most ferocious shot any one man can hit. I'm telling you, bro, that one punch Ben landed in was ferocious. Then he went to America, beat up Iron Barkley, Doug DeWitt, but there was a fight. There was a fight before that when he was basically it was put against some guys. There were noble testers. This is before signing like Williams, and he knocked the guy out. The guy's head was laying on the top rope, and Ben knocked his head off the top rope. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. I mean, when I watched that, I kept replaying that time and time again. I've never seen something. The savagery Ben brought in the ring. I tell you what, yeah. If you was in the other side of the ring, trust me, bro. You was a brave man to fight Nigel Benn when he was at the other end. That guy brought some friggin' pain, bro. You know what I mean? He brought some pain, and the most savage fight I've ever seen. When me and Beat sat there watching it, with our mouths open, dropped. is the Jerry McLennan fight. It was ferocious. It was ferocious, man. Are you serious? Like barbaric at his most, yeah. And I can't let, bruv, anyone denying this guy out the first ballot out of the Boxing Hall of Fame, he must be out there flipping mind, mate. Nigel, the Dark Destroyer Nigel Benn goes in for me. He cleans the board and he goes in. All right. As of that, we're gonna move on to my pick. And now, obviously, his number one rival we're gonna pick in. So we're going with Chris Livingston Banks Jr. Senior. It's Chris Eubank Senior. My pick. Chris Eubank Senior made 13 defenses of the WBO super middleweight title. Also done 4 defenses of the WBO middleweight title, and beating in his wake Nigel Benn, fighting people like Steve Collins, fighting people like at the cruiserweight limit, Carl the Cat Thompson, Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe's already in already. Need I say more? But Chris Eubank Senior was listen, what he brought to the game, like Nigel Benn, was nothing you ever seen before. We still talk about him now. His son just fought last weekend, and even though his son fought and does that, it's kind of still about Eubank, isn't it? I mean, Eubank Senior brought something. The ego has landed. When he came to fight, trust me, you either hated him or liked him, but bruv, you talked about him, and the way he talked, elegant style in the ring. Listen, mate, he bashed people up, bruv. He could hit, even though you may thought he's a a softie. Listen, this guy can hit. I remember he had one fight with this guy. I think is a Freddie Roach trained fighter. The guy, I've got the resume in front of me. He had a wicked fight with a middleweight. What's his name? The guy went on to Gary Stretch, right? Had a great fight with Gary Stretch. Gary Stretch, yeah, at the time they were touted to be something, and he bashed him all over the place, man. Bashed him all over the place. Mute yourself, people, because no comments here, by the way. Alright? Bashed him all over the place. Then you talk about the most harrowing fight you ever saw, the one with Watson. The Watson fight is serious. It rendered Watson into a coma. You know what I mean? Listen, bro, he got decked himself to come off the floor to put and this is in the second fight, by the way, I'm talking about, put Michael Watson in the coma. Michael Watson was a very decent fight. Michael Watson in the first fight arguably beat him, and he gave him the rematch. This Eubank Senior wouldn't duck no one. He'd fight all comers, and I'm telling you, man, this guy, value for money when he was pushed, by the way. When he was pushed, some fights you could stinkers, but if you look at his resume, look at the title defenses, man. The man was competing all the way up, and he started competing all the way. I mean, his career started from 1985. He finished his career in 1998, and he was still competing for championships. Even his last fight was a brutal, savage fight against Carl the Cat Thompson. I'd argue, watch that. You see how brave he was. People didn't think he was brave. Joe Calzaghe, Steve Collins didn't want to fight him, and Eubank Senior jumped in, and he gave him a great fight as well. For me, Chris Eubank Senior, definitely first ballot Hall of Fame, but he's my second. Obviously, it's my second pick in. So I'm gonna leave it up to the panel, and first I'm gonna go with Ben Umar.
Chris Eubank Jr. Damn, I got him in my mind from last week.
Yes,
Chris Eubank Senior.
Yeah.
He was a wild character. I know. I watched his documentary and stuff on him. I know he used to drive in London. Got those little small streets. He used to drive big, freaking 18-wheeler trucks and shit. He was a weird guy. But what people don't give him credit for, because they can't look past the weirdness, he's one of the toughest fighters you'll ever see fight. He had one of the greatest chins in boxing history. That if you go research him and watch that guy fight, he took some hellacious shots, and nobody can finish him. So I think he's a great fighter. Like I said, 18 title defenses. And if I'm gonna give my favorite fighter credit for beating him the second time, even though they called it a draw, I gotta give Chris Eubank at the time, who was unheralded, and nobody, I believe, from watching the build up to the fight, watching the old clips, that nobody believed he was gonna beat Nigel Benn, but he did, and he stopped him. And he fought, like you said, he fought Steve Collins, he fought Calzaghe. He fought a lot of guys, but after maybe he did what he did to Michael Watson, he lost a little bit of himself. But before that, he was a great fighter, and I think he's earned his right to be in the Hall of Fame.
Excellent speech there. UK boxing blogger.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm just checking. I was off mute. Yeah, no, Chris Eubank Jr. Senior, man. Yeah, legend, mate. Absolute legend, mate. One of the toughest guys in boxing ever, period, in my opinion. Had a great chin. Two-weight world champion. I personally didn't think he lost to Steve Collins fights, so he was a long reigning champion in my eyes. You shouldn't lose your titles like that when they're that close, in my opinion. But he went in about it. He was always the villain as well, so he was always in sort of like hostile environments. Sometimes he beat.
1 second, Lee. I'm getting some feedback, Lee. So if you're moving around, can you refrain and just try and get your thing off because we're getting feedback a bit. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And back in the early days when he beat Ben and Watson, he was a killer, mate, absolute killer. Even when he matured, when he lost to Steve Collins and that, he was getting to the end. But I don't think he lost them fights. Joe Calzaghe stepped in, as you said. Steve Collins didn't want to fight a young guy like that, in my opinion. But that's open for debate. But that was you give Joe Calzaghe his toughest fight. As Joe Calzaghe said, and as you said, Errol, I second what you say. You go and watch the two Thompson fights, man. Brutal, especially the last one. The only time he ever been finished was because of his eye, and he weren't really. He was, it was just a brutal fight, and his eye was just all over the gap, and he was still there trading with a big, tough puncher, like cruiserweight. The guy's an absolute legend, mate, an absolute stud. Got to be in there.
Excellent. Thanks for that endorsement, Lee. We're going on to boxing beats and rhymes.
Yeah. He has to go in there, all the title defenses. And the Nigel Benn win, spectacular. That alone doesn't get him in there, but it accounts for a lot of his notoriety. The Dan Sherry win, once again, didn't look good in that. Technical decision. As I remember, headbutted him in the back of his head. The Gary Stretch fight didn't look good in that, but he finished it. He did get the job done. The Michael Watson fight, the first one, I thought he lost it. Second one, we all know what happened there. He redeemed himself indeed, to Michael's detriment. He done a great job on Malinga. I don't know how it was a split decision. He looked really good in that fight. And Malinga, to me, beat Ben twice. Yeah? Some of the defenses, like Essett and Thornton. The Thornton fight, I was watching it, man. I in my opinion, he looked like he lost the fight, man. The Lindell Holmes fight kind of looked like, I don't know. It looked closer to me. The Ray Close fight looked like he lost that. He fought someone named Dan Showman. That looked a bit close, but he had a lot of defenses. That's the thing. And the Carl Thompson fight's brilliant, and the Henry Wharton fight looked sensational the way he outboxed him. But the Steve Collins fight, I agree with Lee. I think he was definitely unlucky to lose the second one. And he goes down. Yeah. The Carl Thompson fight was savage, man. Bruiser, great chin. Yeah, he goes in, all the defenses. But I'm going to keep it real, man. A lot of the fights I saw him, the defenses, there were some shaky decisions. So I'm going to put him in a lower tier. Because he didn't always fight, like, to me, some of the names of the title defense, a bit shaky. I'm going to put him in there, but lower tier. I know it's a bit of a shocker to you guys, but that's where I'm going to have him.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Chris Caban.
It wasn't no. He did lose to Lindell Holmes. He definitely lost that fight. He didn't win that fight, but other than that, he had some shaky fights, but he won them though. And he beat Nigel Benn. He had some good title defenses, so I'm gonna put him in there. But in my opinion, he did not win that Lindell Holmes fight.
All right. So Chris Caban, the panel was spoken unanimously gets in. Like I said to the people listening, you either get in or you get out. You can put them how you want, but as the panel spoken, Chris Eubank Sr. gets in. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to non-participants, and hope the panel has spoken. We're gonna go for that without no further ado. So we're gonna make sure you mute yourself, featherweight. guys, so we don't get no feedback. And we're gonna go in with non-boxing participants. As I've got my thing here, we're gonna go with beats. Boxing, beats and rhymes for non-participants. The second pick.
I think I'm gonna go with. It was okay. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Tibbs. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Tibbs. You know, I'm feeling sympathetic to the UK today. I mean, like 50 years in the game, good amateur, as far as I know, decent professional too, and he's been a manager, promoter. You know, he's trained guys and prepared guys like Nigel Benn, Chris Pyatt was a WBO champion. Chris Pyatt. Charlie Magri, flyweight champion, WBC flyweight champion back in the early 80s. He's worked with Barry McGuigan, Steve Collins, super middleweight champion Steve Collins, Dennis Andrews, two-time light heavyweight champion Wayne Alexander. He's worked with Lloyd Honeyghan, Alex Arthur, Frank Bruno, when Frank Bruno won the title, and many more other fights too. And as we see, still training today, and he coached Billy Joe Saunders. Because I watched that fight again. To a deserved victory. I mean, like, at first I wasn't sure of Billy Joe. I watched it again. To a deserved victory over Chris Eubank Jr. So Jimmy Tibbs, long service in British boxing. Always consistent, always there, always in the infrastructure, always giving sound advice, reliable, you know, yeah, Hall of Famer for me.
Thanks very much, Beats. Great ambassador to the game, and worthy nominee for Beats' second non-participants. So we're gonna go to UK boxing blogger. Do you second Beats? UK boxing blogger.
Definitely.
You don't sound. You sound away from the mic, my friend, because you.
Sorry, man. Yeah, no, definitely 100%, man. And that was it. That was a great case put forward to Beats, man. I forgot he was Wayne Alexander's trainer as well, man. Great victories there, man. God, one of my favourite fights actually at the time. But yeah, man, I can't argue with that. That's a great case, Beats.
So you second. So yeah. All right.
It's got to be in there, no problems.
All right, cool. Thanks for that, Chris Caban.
I never heard of the guy. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Beast has told you about him just there.
Yeah, but that's because Beats heard. I never heard of him though.
Okay, so what are you saying, Chris?
I don't know. I just say never heard of him. I don't want to say no or yes or no.
You have to say yes or no.
We should make another one.
Chris, yeah, the people are listening. It's yes or no.
I don't know. I guess I don't know about the guy too much. No.
You're saying no, yeah? All right.
We have to put it down as a no.
One second, Beat. So I got it as a no, Chris, yeah?
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, so me, myself, definitely I agree. Ben Numar's gone offline for a minute. I'm sure he'll come back at some point and I'll ask him. But I'll definitely, Jimmy Tibbs, definitely. Great strategy performance to get for Billy Joe to get the win over Chris Eubank Jr. And notable names, worked with Ben, all the legendary guys. No one got bad words out for Jimmy Tibbs. Hard working, definitely deserves it. And so I say yeah. And I admit we got one no. Ben Umar will probably put his tape in for now. He gets in. And we asked Ben Umar, but I'm not too sure Ben Umar. I don't know if Beats wants to go over it. So I'm gonna leave Ben Umar out of it. I'm just gonna say yeah, he gets in. So Jimmy Tibbs gets in, Beats second pick, non-participant. We're gonna we'll go with Lee, UK boxing blogger. Your nominee for non-participant, your second pick.
Right. Mine's gonna be Mick Williamson, the cut man. Right. Reason being, the guy's been around the game for donkey's years, man. He's not just famous for Ricky Hatton. You know, he works in the corner, every corner. From Bellew against Cleverly, he's been in there where Bellew got that mad cut in the in one of his fights just before the Stevenson fight. He's been in there. He's done all the major fighters. He started off with Frank Warren as like a manager. He managed a load of fighters in London, come together with Frank Warren years ago. So he's been around the game for years. You know, he's famous in the UK for being a taxi driver, and his in one half of his career, and then he's the best cut man that we have. You know, you give over in America, they're allowed to have adrenaline and all sorts of stuff to help aid the bleeding of a cut. Over here in the UK, by the Boxing Board of Control, they give us very limited resources to deal with a cut. You know, and that guy does magic work time and time again, man. He's the best in the business. He's been in every fighter's corner for the last the who's who of British boxing, basically. The guy's an absolute legend, you know, and he's been doing it for like 20, 30 years, mate. You know, I just think he's got to be in there, man.
Okay, thanks for that, Lee. A great nominee. I know about Mick Williams and Ricky Hatton's corner. Been a while for a while, but I'm not going to try and take people's idea of him. So, Chris Caban, what do you think?
I don't know too much about him, I'm being honest. No.
Alright, Chris, no. Lee, everyone mute himself after, so we don't get no thing back. Boxing beats and rhymes.
Yeah, he done Ricky Hatton, but I'm gonna say no.
Okay, alright. Me, myself, I know him for the Ricky Hatton thing, and I definitely know him for being one of the best cut men around the business. I don't know too much about him other than the Ricky Hatton thing, and also from then onwards, because obviously then onwards he got... can everyone mute themselves, please, so I don't get no feedback? Thank you very much. I don't know anything else other than him, what you mentioned, Lee. What you mentioned is what I know about him as well, and the span of him. Obviously, I don't know how long he's been doing it. Cuts, notable names, but he definitely is a worthy nominee. You know, the Ricky Hatton thing, and he done a great job with Ricky Hatton's cuts around his eye. Definitely, I remember the time they were the commentators' time was saying about the adrenaline, like you said, Lee, and he proved that, you know, he's very good, adapt, and he could one of the best I've seen ever cuts. And you know what? He's not that, you know, he's because of cuts. Let's say as a cut man, he's the first guy we actually nominate as a cuts man. And on a cuts man, from what I've seen of him in the span, I don't know how long he's been doing it. He's bloody excellent. First class, mate. And I'll tell you what, if I was a boxer in the corner, I'd have him in. So you know what? I nominated him in. I'll put him in. So Benuma, Mick Williams.
I'm gonna say no because I have absolutely no idea who the guy is.
Okay. Because you missed out what Lee said, and we're not going to repeat again. So we just say no. So Mick Williams, the cut man. The panel have, as unanimously speak, they say no. I'm the only person that says yes. So he doesn't get in. So unfortunate, but that's the way things are. Alright, make sure you mute yourself, because I don't get no feedback, please. Thank you very much. Alright, thank you very much. So we're moving on to the next person. Chris Caban, your second nominee, non-participants.
I'm gonna put Sean O'Grady from the Tuesday Night Fights era on USA Network, the champ Sean O'Grady.
You gonna tell the fight fans about him?
Yeah, he was from the guy from the Tuesday Night Fight era. He fought. He was the long stay. That was a long. How long was that Tuesday Night Fights running? That was from the mid to late '80s, early to the late '90s. He was on the Tuesday Night Fights. If anybody remember the Tuesday Night Fights era of boxing on the USA Network, he was one of the broadcasts. He was on the broadcast here. Him and Al Alberts.
Okay. Alright. Chris, anything else, Chris, you want to add? Alright, thanks for that, Chris. You mute yourself, by the way. Alright, so Chris Caban is numbered Sean O'Grady, a former fighter, turned announcer, commentator. Very good, by the way. Very good. He's done a really good job. So without further ado, I'm going to go with boxing beats and rhymes. Does Sean O'Grady get in?
Not for me. Not for me.
Okay. So beats. Nope. Beats, you any specific reason why Beats?
He was okay. I remember him more as a fighter, really. He did his thing, but he just wasn't an outstanding pundit or commentator to me. He wasn't outstanding. He was good. He was competent. Knew what he was doing. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't see him being an outstanding announcer. So no, was my answer really. So
okay, so that's the first no. Okay. All right. So we go to Benuma.
No, I don't think he put in enough work to be considered.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the USA reign didn't even go that long, and so I can't sit here and put a guy in there that didn't put in enough work.
Okay, so that's 2. All right. Me myself personally, man, I'm knowing him as a fighter. He had some great fights. Everyone needs to mute himself, by the way. He put in some great fights. As an announcer, he was very good, man. He was very good. He actually, he could tell things happening before it happened. I can understand why Chris picked him. Longevity, the 80s, 90s for a bit. He actually commentated this weekend, on 2 weeks ago on Maze Clay versus Ross Steiker. He was actually called with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had him working on one of his Fox cards, which was pretty good. Good to see him back. And he was pretty good, man. He was pretty good. He actually broke down fights pretty well. With as he did not, but he was pretty good. But I don't think in the category of commentary, I think he's actually in the Hall of Fame as a boxer. By the way, Chris. But I'm not too sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But I have to say no. UK boxing blogger.
No, I don't know nothing. No.
Okay. All right. So UK boxing no. By the way, people on the panel. When the people everyone nominates you, you should try and listen to what they're saying because they're putting the argument for. So I don't understand why some of you listening, and this is you don't have to comment back. Some of you listening say I don't know who he is because the panel are actually telling you about them. So you can kind of get an idea who we're talking about. But I move on. Benuma, who's your nominee for non-top participants?
My nominee is Teddy Atlas.
Oh.
As a trainer and as an announcer, he trained obviously Mike Tyson, Michael Moorer, and Povetkin, all heavyweight world champions. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think he's the best announcer doing it today. And I think it's a travesty that he's still on ESPN when guys like Max Kellerman and Jim Lampley are doing HBO. And the guys on, I like Al Bernstein, but more Ronaldo and the other Steve Farhood are on there instead of him. That's a joke to me. I think Teddy Atlas gives great analysis. I think he's very passionate, and I think he makes fights exciting. And he will call the boxing world out on its bullshit, and I really appreciate that. Even if I don't agree with him all the times, he's willing to go there and call the boxing world out on its bullshit. That's why I'm such a big fan of him. I think Teddy Atlas is a no-doubt Hall of Famer at some point.
Thank you very much, Benuma. You can mute yourself now. And I'm going to start. As a trainer, he trained Michael Moore to the heavyweight championship of the world. As a commentator, listen, man, this guy, listen, bro, he tells you where he is. We feel like as a fan, you're listening to him, he's on our side. He wants the best for fighters. He's always looking out for us, and he loves talking about the old timers. And every time he's talking historical, brings in historical facts and lets us know about what the old timers think. He's a pupil of Castamado, a great knowledgeable guy about the game. I'll have to second Umar on that. I agree that Teddy Atlas should go in. I'm going to go to UK boxing blogger.
Yeah, I second that on both counts, man. Trainer and commentator. So that was excellent. That come as a bit of a surprise. That was brilliant, Ben. But I would like to say sometimes I don't agree with some of the stuff he says, and I can probably see where HBO and that might not pick him, like the mainstream big ones, because he's quite controversial sometimes. But but when you've got people like Max Kellerman who don't know nothing about the sport, sometimes like when he's announcing it, but great pick, yeah, definitely 100%, yeah, yes.
Great pick. All right, Lee, thanks for that. Chris Caban.
Yes, definitely.
Anything else you want to add, Chris?
What do you want me to hear?
No, that's all right, Chris. It's all right, my friend. Yes is all we need to know, man. The fight fans know. Thanks, Chris. Boxer beats the rhymes.
Yeah, man. He trained the first Southpaw heavyweight champion, as far as I know. He was with Mike Tyson, obviously, with great stories. I'm tempted to say F HBO. He's too good for HBO. Let them stay with their corporate bullshit crap. You know, I'd rather him just do his own thing, you know, independent, says what he wants, when he wants to. You know, he'll put Bob Arum in check in a second, Pacquiao in check in a second, a lot of the BS. You know, he definitely thinks Pacquiao's a juice head. And he just speaks his mind, man. I like Teddy, man. I like Teddy. He called Mike Tyson a phony. He don't really care. I like Teddy, man. I like Teddy. Man. You know what I mean?
All right. So Teddy Atlas sweeps the board. He gets in for Numar's second pick, non-participant. Teddy Atlas gets in there. With all the knowledge, he gets in there. Hey, boy, that's a good pick. All right. So we go down to the final one now. My non-participant. Bit of controversy here now, but he is on the ballot, and in fact, he's been nominated into the Boxing Hall of Fame as we speak right now. So, you know, if you're gonna flame me up. But I like this guy. I don't care what anyone says. Jim Lampley. Jim Lampley, to me, yeah, the commentating thing has been around boxing from the 80s. As far as I remember, from the 80s, from Parnell Whitaker, from Mike Tyson, all the way up to Lennox Lewis and everyone. And every time he's doing, apart from recent times, right, recent times where you feel his biasness, you know. Now he is biased, right? And remember, I'm nominating him now, yeah. But I appreciate the biasness this guy does. But I also appreciate the good work this man's putting into the game. And I'm telling you, bro, this Brad's been, he's done an excellent job of commentating. Every time I watch the fight, and I feel like it was like a story being told. He made the fight, even if the fight wasn't good, he'll try and make it interesting. But bear in mind, from the Pacquiao era, so I'm gonna try and wipe out the Pacquiao era, even though many times you won't. Yeah, he was very Mike Tyson era, Lennox Lewis's era, and all the other eras down before. He was very good. Parnell, great job, Parnell Whitaker, Evander Holyfield. If you look at all the great fights he was involved in, and hear his commentary on the HBO, excellent. Beautiful commentary, you know, endless. Like me myself, when I'm doing commentary myself, I try and use the words bang, bang, bang. That's all I want to see. Excitement. What's another one again? Phoenix Trinidad fights, man. Phoenix Trinidad, he coming out the gates and this and that. Listen, mate. He another one like Bob Sheridan. He brought excitement to the game. His commentary to me was very good. And I enjoy listening to him, Jam. I don't care what anyone says. I enjoy him. People in the comment section might disagree with me, and even on the panel. But for me, he's already nominated in the Boxing Hall of Fame, so it's already a given. But I want to hear what you have to say and the fight fans in the comment section. So without further ado, I'm gonna go to UK boxing blogger Lee. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, man, I second that, Errol.
Oh, you know, thank you.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. I don't think that his biasness over recent times between Pacquiao and Floyd. Yeah, people just got to remember this situation, man. Floyd violently attacked one of his very, very closest, not verbally, you know, like it was too back and forth. Like, he didn't like the criticism. You know, they had a lot of hostility between the commentator team and HBO and Floyd at the end, man. Like, in my opinion, you know, it was an argument that was breaking out both ways. You know, and you know, a lot of nasty things were said to each other, and you know, and it's going to create biasness, you know, for Freddie Roach and Pacquiao, because, you know, for the obvious reasons, but you know, that's a mess they're all in together, you know. And Floyd actually left HBO, so obviously HBO are going to allow him to be a bit like that, or the writing was probably on the wall before then when they started arguing and getting biased against each other. That shouldn't be held accountable for the guy's good work that he put in for boxing for years. You know, and I like his tone as well, and the way he storytells a fight. You know, I like it, man. He's got to be in there, innit? All the achievements he's had and the longevity has to be.
Excellent. Thank you, Batch UK blogger. Boxing beats and rhymes.
Pacquiao, man crush, bias, hypocrite. Talk about Floyd beating up women, and he apparently hasn't been adverse to doing the same thing, you know, drug binges, you know, try and go on like it's some clean church going role model, you know. Any legacy he's had, he's brought to me. I'll put him in there because, you know, there's been a lot of longevity and he's on the mainstream network, but lower tier, he goes in there with no accolades for me. That's how I'll put him in there. You know what I mean?
Boxing Beast has spoken. Chris Caban.
Not only did he have a Pacquiao man crush, he also had an Oscar De La Hoya man crush. If y'all remember him calling the De La Hoya fights, but I'm not putting him in. Hell to the no. Two buys for me.
Okay.
I say no.
Thank you very much, Chris Caban. Boy, all right. Benuma, deciding vote.
But see, this is a funny thing for me because as a kid, I grew up watching Jim Lampley.
Everyone else needs to mute themselves, by the way, Beats. Sorry to, thank you very much. Go ahead.
All right, so as a kid, I grew up loving Jim Lampley because I was an ignorant child. But as I became an adolescent, to a teenager, to a man, I realized that he was full of shit. If you listen to this guy commentating the things he says, like B said, he's criticizing Floyd for the same shit he's doing. He goes along like he's some kind of fucking church boy, but he really isn't. He's beating his women, doing all kinds of drugs. The dude's a scumbag. But the only thing people hear is, you want to trade? Bang. You want to trade? Bang. Fuck out of here. That dude does not deserve to be nowhere. He doesn't even deserve to be allowed to go into Canastota. Hell no. Absolutely not. Get him out of here.
Thank you very much, Benuma. You shut the door down. That is actually the first guy that he's actually drawn a divide, actually. Chris and Ben say no, and Lee and Beat say yes. And, let's leave it up to the people in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think Jim Lampley's getting in, even though he is getting in, by the way? He's been ringing in. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do a quick recap. And then we're going to mention any notable names they want to add in. So I'm going to take a break right now. We'll be back here in a sec.